I am Brandon, and we are going over a couple of things today. We have our question of the day, our forced memories, and what's the new
Pew,
coming
pew,
at you
pew.
today. Well, always with me, we have Taggart, the awesome Taggart, and
What up?
yeah, we'll just get right into it. So the QTD today
Question of the day.
is what future tech are you most looking forward to, and including that what it might be out but hasn't lived up to the proper expectations. So a lot of stuff from movies or books or just your own ideas on what the future, any of those drawings where hot air balloons would be carrying us around with our jetpacks and so on and so forth. Very Tomorrowlandy kind of stuff.
Yes. I'll jump in.
Go for it.
Here's the thing. Everything that I really care to actually happen these days has to do with transportation. That's
Okay.
it. That's it, man.
Mm-hmm.
So the big thing that I want, and I want, it's got to be transporters, man. We got to have ourselves some transporters.
Like
We got to.
teleport, like the Fly
Yeah.
style. Okay.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Like, it can be in lots of different things. I've thought about this a bit. Okay. So we could have, you could have personal transporters, right? Where you have it in your home and you take it, but you got to pay for that electricity. You got to pay for that yourself, and that's probably going to be expensive. What I want is
Expensive.
expensive. I want a couple of state-funded, like toll road esque transporters. All right.
Okay.
Where there might be a queue or something, or you can think of it as like a toll road. It's like a little stubby toll road that just goes off
So
the side
this is
somewhere.
public transportation through the ether.
Right. And this is you drive your car.
Okay.
Drive your car. Okay.
You're taking your whole vehicle. Okay.
You're driving your car. So that's what I mean.
All
It's
right.
like an actual toll road, a little stubby. It's not very long. You just turn off or whatever. And there's a little road, and it's like a toll gate, right, with different entry points. And there could be.
So this is the Phantom toll booth type style.
Well, yeah, except we don't got one toll booth. We got multiple entry points. So you could say that's
Right.
4 or 5 lanes wide or whatever, right? You pull up.
Mm-hmm.
You have maybe a pre-purchased thing, or or it's like a QR code or something. There's a scanner. You put your phone up. It reads the QR code, which has your destination encoded, or whatever, right?
Wait. My favorite thing about this is you're working out the logistics on how to charge people, as
It's
opposed
got
to
to be real.
the technology to get you from point A to point B. You're like, hold up, if we got this technology, like we're putting that on the backboard, we need to capitalize. Like I need to be able to charge people. I don't want
Well,
everybody
yeah.
squirreling through.
Well, that's the thing. Like we could go, we could go.
How does it work? It works after you give us $5.
You best have my money. Well, that's the thing, I guess. That's the thing with something like that. Like I said, you can have a personal transporter, but you're going to be fitting the
Right.
bill, dude. And that's going to be expensive. If the state is providing some of it in a toll road situation where, yeah, you got to throw $20 at her or whatever, but they're supplying some money. These
Right.
things are important
Subsidized.
to think
Okay.
about. Like,
Right.
great, if the technology comes along, what are we going to do with it? No one's going to thought of it. Nah, I got a plan. Come to me. Let's get it going. All right?
All right.
So you drive your car up. You have some kind of scanning thing with your phone, blah, blah, blah. So you don't have to type in. You don't have to be like, this is my location. You just scan it, right, to a sister booth somewhere else. And you drive through, and you come out the other side, and you're like, "We are in Hawaii, or we were in Southeast Asia, or we went to Siberia for some reason." Like, and
There's a sister booth out there.
dude, those communists be making their money. So
Are the commies still?
No, no. As soon as I said that, I thought, "Oh, you're still
There,
living in the
there might be some,
'90s."
there might be some people in Siberia that hasn't gotten the word that that the Soviet Union fell.
It's
They're
like
like still sitting out there, like,
I still give my food to the state.
yeah.
I never see any money back.
I
Um,
mean, in that kind of environment, communism might work because everybody's got to work together to survive.
it is cold. Here is my food.
Eat
Um,
caribou.
but then because that's the thing. Like, I don't mind traveling 30 minutes to get
Mm-hmm.
somewhere that would normally take you 16 hours in a plane, right?
Right.
I don't need the instant gratification of being able to walk into my den and being like, boop, 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 boop. I'm there, sucker. Like it, I am perfectly fine with putting in some drive time, but I still want to get there sooner. And if I could bring my own vehicle, where I don't,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's going to destroy the car rental um, industry. It's true because you can bring your car anywhere you want to go. Well, there's no reason
Right.
to rent a car if you're just like my sedan made it to Niger. Uh,
Niger?
that's right. He went
All
to
right.
Africa. He went to Africa.
Okay.
That's where he wanted to go. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so, anyways, that's mine. Like, I cannot tell you, as someone who travels a lot to play music and things like this, I love car rides as much as the next person, but sometimes you just want to get there and be there and just. I'll
Mm-hmm.
drive 30 minutes an hour to wherever this booth is in my state is, whatever. But yeah, you want
No,
that.
I
Don't
would
lie about
definitely say that's fair because, like, you think about it as like, um, what a lot of like talking about the whole Tomorrowland, the world of tomorrow, all this kind of different
it.
stuff.
Tomorrow never
Um,
dies.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
You only die
Maybe it only lives
twice.
twice.
The
So anyway,
man with the
uh,
golden gun.
yeah, well, well, no, no.
I think I lost the thread. I lost the thread a little bit.
in
Go
in
ahead.
Moonraker they get up there for super fast. But you think about it, and yeah, all those, like, even if you go way 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 back to like the 1800s, when they were drawing their crazy stuff on what the future would be like, and everything, you see a lot of it as like people flying or jetpacks or
Yeah, they want to get places quick.
people, the ride, like the tube thing from Futurama and stuff like that. Like, it's all about, it was a big thing, like transportation.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You think of like hundreds of years, not, well, like thousands and thousands of years. It's like the fastest you could go was a horse, right? Like, and horses can't run for a very long time. So like, uh, then you got the train and like the steam engine, and people are moving at like 50 miles, 60 miles an hour, and they're just like, oh
Right,
man, we
right, right.
are making good time, creating time zones, all that kind of stuff. But now we had the Concorde, as kind of the peak of mass travel, but it wasn't very mass. It was like the rich, like Sting.
It was just expensive. Yeah,
Sting,
yeah.
Sting was the only one freaking flying back and forth
Sting's
and
like,
everything.
I live in England and in New York. I go to take the
Yeah,
plane.
exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's like less than most people commute to work. A lot of people commute to work and everything,
Right.
but yeah, transportation of human beings kind of capped out with the jet. So I
Right.
think you're totally right.
When we
I
need
think
that next leap, man, I'm looking for that next step. Where's that next
we've
step?
been promised.
Transportation evolution. Where's that at?
Hmm. Yeah, and I mean, whether it's Willy Wonka doing it over the radio waves, or Jeff Goldblum, or you know uh, a third example escapes me. Yeah, I mean, like there's a lot of
Exactly.
potential out there for you know Nightcrawler, phasing technology and everything.
Right.
So yeah, I think that is something. The information superhighway is just getting better. We're getting computing things smaller and smaller, and a
I
lot of
think
people
it's
didn't see that coming.
yeah, we're
But
mapping people's brains. I think that's
hmm
I don't know if I'm just way off, but I think those things are connected. Once they figure out how to map someone in the brain, it's just going to be like the next step to map the whole body. And if they can do it quickly, then they can just reproduce it elsewhere. Maybe they can
well, this is
transmit the whole thing. And we're like, boom,
yeah.
boom, boom. We live here now. Okay.
Well, I mean, spoiler alert for the Prestige, right? Uh,
Oh no,
is yeah, exactly.
I've
If you
uh,
saw
I've
the
uh, never watched that movie.
if you invested your money in The Illusionist instead of the Prestige, then here's a spoiler alert. But the whole thing with that is, are you creating a copy at the other end? Are you faxing yourself?
Right,
So then you have to kill your original. Are we Ben
right.
Riley, or are we Peter Parker kind of thing? Like, will we ever know? And does it matter? Because I mean, you think about it, like how much of you is I'm slapping my knee because
Here,
how
I'm
much of
just
you is really you? There's a
here's
lot of existential questions in this. Go
Here's what
ahead.
I'm thinking though. If we can copy ourselves and move over, like we don't got to kill people when they're old to make that Soylent Green. We got it. We just saved those extra bodies, and we got food for the nations, man. Everyone's accountable, and we
well,
love it.
yeah.
Oh,
Well,
that's
yeah. I
a
mean, like,
that's a big spoiler for Soylent Green if nobody's seen that.
there's like so many movies that like the culture of it, and I think it's Charlton Heston mostly. Charlton Heston has like two of the biggest twists
Right.
in his age of cinema, and uh, I mean, two. I mean, if you never read the Bible, then I guess three if you count the Ten Commandments. But Charlton Heston, wait, what? The
There were
like the
10 of
Egyptians were coming
them.
after him. And the Egyptians were coming after him, and then boom! Like it'll blow your mind. I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to spoil it, but um, but I mean,
Something
like, yeah,
about a calf.
He's got two of the biggest, kind of mystery twist
Right.
endings,
Completely.
and that's the only thing that people know about those movies is the what Soylent Green is, and that it was Earth the whole time.
Where those dang apes lived.
Yeah, so
They
it's
did it.
it's it's,
They
it's
really
fascinating.
did it.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the whole Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Like, the only thing people know about that story is the ending of the actual book. But
Right.
anyway, Back to Future Tech.
Yeah, yeah. So what do you got? What do you got on your
League
on
of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Sean
Um,
Connery's favorite movie?
yeah. So I was thinking about it, and um, we were talking about it a little bit today. Even like food reduced to pill form, right?
Uh huh.
like like Jetson style, or food replication, that kind of thing, like
Ooh.
getting, solving the world's hunger and everything by saying
I did
this
it,
is all
man.
you need.
Transporters,
Yeah,
Soylent Green. I'm sorry. Continue.
dude, I'll tell you this though, when you really think about it, like the whole like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, like this guy, if he really existed, he had it all figured out, man. He like flight, he had trans, what do we just call teleportation figured
All right.
out.
All right.
He had this whole food all built into one thing, like into the gum and
All
everything
right.
like that. Like
Hat racks
he
just had to be half of faces.
Yes, that yeah. And he knew human nature too. I mean,
He
you
knew
really
what he
think about it.
made. Yeah.
He knew what he was going for. But anyway, um,
Snozzberries taste like snozzberries.
oh, don't say that.
But they did.
uh, yeah. So anyway, like food and like basically like we hear all these like, oh, it's a superfood, or oh, it's this is like, has antioxidants and this blah 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 blah. Like getting food science down to this is exactly what your body needs on the daily, and we can make it taste like whatever you want it to taste like. And I think the people that are going to do this is if like Frito Lay with all of its crazy potato chips now, and meat, like if they join forces with Jelly Belly, like they like, I mean, if you can replicate dried snot flavor into a candy, you could do whatever you wanted.
I'm just picturing
You
like
know, if
I'm just picturing, you
if
got like the all flavor chip. What if you had
yeah,
the all necessary vitamin chip? It's just a
exactly. I mean,
bag of chips that gave you all the necessary vitamins you needed, and you're like, no
but I'm
starchy
talking like
fats.
everything.
Yeah,
Yeah, like all your amino acids for the day, all your this, all your
exactly.
that, and everything, and it like, the only thing, and also too, you could even build in chemicals in those pills. Maybe I should be writing this down and trying to patent this instead of just
Yeah, get
putting
on it,
this out there.
man.
So, but you could even build into those pills not appetite suppressants like they try to, which is basically just fiber. All those appetite suppressant pills, it's not doing anything but filling your body, saying like, oh, here's fiber that's not going to actually count to your calorie intake, but it's going to fill your stomach up, so it's going to seem full because it's like, oh, I got to digest this for a couple hours. Jeez, hold on, don't put anything else in here because we're getting. That's all appetite suppressants are. But if it had the
Feeling a little
chemical
backed up.
components, yeah, if it had the chemical components to slowly release those same hormones into your system that your stomach sends to your brain anyway,
Yeah.
that says, hold up, we actually are satisfied, then you're eating the exact right amount of calories for your activities of the day. You're getting all the nutrients. You could take an extra protein pill if you're going to be working out that day. Protein, like Major Tom knew what was up, right? So like we're getting into space. We're able to take decades worth of food in like just a big shaker bottle. So I don't know. Future pills, or not future pills, uh, like daily supplement pills for everything, I think
Everything you
is
need,
something that
and
kind of just got abandoned. Yeah.
well, that's interesting. Just for like even like weight loss people who are like, I can't eat all that much, but I need all these things in my body. And it's like if we
Right.
talk about if in conjunction with our fasting, we were talking about last time. You take those
Hmm.
pills and then purposely don't eat anything. You're going to be hungry, but it's going to eat the stores in your body, but you're making sure you get everything you need as well. We'd be skinny bennies, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Why
Um,
aren't you on this? Why are we talking right now? You should file this patent. Let's go. Let's
well,
go.
I
I'll take
mean,
a percentage. I was here. It's fair.
apparently you're the money guy. You're like, hold on, this is how we sell the products after we've made them. Like let's sell the cart before the horse here, because that's not a mixed metaphor. But um, but yeah, so
We need to figure out how to push
um,
these things, man. You know it. You know.
be the pill pushers.
Hey, but for the good of society.
That's right. Yeah, end world
We're
hunger,
we're
all that good stuff.
breaking good.
Oh,
Nailed it.
nice. All right.
I like
Next
it.
segment.
I like it. Yeah, let's transition on here to forced memories, where we delve into the subconscious of our friends and each other, and we discuss Silly things that happened to us in the past. Let's do that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the prompt today for a forced memory is worst school memories.
Well, just I mean, in your very wording of that whole thing, I think prompts was one of the worst parts about school. Is you would get these standardized tests, and you'd get some writing prompt that means nothing to you, and you have to write this essay out of nowhere. Um,
That's a
yeah,
fair. That's a fair statement and a decent transition.
those were terrible. I mean, I think one of the things that comes to mind was when I was in AP AP French,
Yeah.
right? Um, and like we were, seeing, oh yeah, do you want to spend the extra money to take the AP test for college credit and blah 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 blah. And the thing is, you got to make these choices at the beginning of the semester, which is terrible because it's like, hey, you kind of like this class, maybe you signed up for it. Do you want to spend all year studying for this test? Because you're going to have to decide right now. So you have to make this choice, and you do, and you pay, or your parents pay the money or whatever. Um, but we had a Spanish teacher. This is why I decided not to take the AP French test,
I'm listening.
because we had a
Spanish
Spanish
teacher? Wait, you're talking about the
instruction. Well,
French?
no, like
Okay,
I was in French,
I'm
but
following.
one of my friends was in the Spanish class,
Oh, I'm not
and
following.
there
Continue.
and the teacher was from Colombia,
Okay.
and she failed the AP Spanish test. Like she took like a practice exam, or like something else, and she failed it. And they're like, "How could you fail it? Like that
The
is your
teacher
first language." And
failed?
she's like, "Well, she failed like the listening portion." And it's like, "How could you fail that?" And stuff. She's like, "The story or whatever that they were talking about was so boring, like I just stopped paying attention." And so when the questions came up, I had no idea what was going on, because I was like, I couldn't tell you anything that you said because this is so dull. And I'm like, if that's the kind of thing, you know, and I'm sure it's more of like the language was super simple, so it's not like, like some compelling narrative that,
Right.
has all this colorful. It's like, when we go to the store, we get apples. How many apples do you have, Pedro? Like it's very like just like, oh. So she was
Unte.
so bored that and so I was like, I'm not taking this test. No, no way. 'Cause I'm like, I wasn't that good at French at the time already. I wasn't overly excited about it. And then I was like, no, not going to take the AP test.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But that was definitely not my worst memory. So, that was just something you triggered when you said
Prompts.
prompts.
Nailed it. Nailed it.
Yeah. Hmm. Wait, what's your worst memory?
My worst.
Get back.
I don't. I couldn't think of something that was like my worst memory. I had some bad memories, but they all had to do with like. Okay, let's get into some disciplinary disciplinarian
Oh.
actions. Disciplinary actions. So, anyways, I was a good child. Let me preface it with that. I was a good kid, like whatever. So, anyways, there's a couple of stories I could tell. First story, middle school. All right, this was the only time I ever got Saturday school, and I was very unhappy about it.
Oh,
Do you
I don't
know?
think I ever got scattered at school, but I do not know this story.
Do you
No.
not know the story? So mutual friend Dan. Dan knew Taekwondo. He's very good at Taekwondo. He was very fast, very quick man. I would
Yes.
suspect he is
Mm-hmm.
still such. Anyways, we're in the hallway, and he's been practicing his stuff. So he's got his waxing on and off really quick and whatever. So we asked. I'm serious. So he's like try me, like try to punch me, I'll block you. So I like try to punch him, and he's like blocking me, and he's real quick, and I'm like, whoa, dude, cool. Teacher saw us, totally thought we were actually having a fight, and we were like, no, we're friends. And we tried to explain it to at
Mm-hmm.
least two adults that were like taking us to the principal's office, and they're like, nah, we saw you were fighting. We're like, we're buddies, like he's showing me his moves, like I'm not gonna hit the guy in the face. They're like, nah. So we went to the principal's office, and we still were like, no, we're friends, like this is like, don't try to get out of it because you guys got caught fighting. And we're like, we're not, we weren't, like, are you serious? This is if I have any kind of complex of people not listening to me, not believing me when I say things, started here. I'm just realizing now.
This is the origin. This is the origin story.
So
How dare you? How dare you doubt my
we
call
had
my integrity into question?
yeah, and we're middle school kids. We're like seventh grade. We don't know how to deal with this and be like, no, you're stupid. Like we really didn't get in a fight. We are not gonna take this. You know. So we're
Well, because that's also too is when you're that age, like you're also panicking. You
oh
know, you're
yeah.
like, so it's not like you're thinking the most rationally. Where you're like, okay, let's break this down. Why? Like, it's like ask anybody if there's ever been a confrontation between the two of us. Ask anybody this, blah blah blah. You know, you can't like break it down for an adult. You're just like, no, 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 no.
No,
Like that's your
you
best
don't
argument. It's
know,
like
you don't
we were, yeah.
understand. We're friends. We're friends. So
Mhm.
so we're in the principal's office, and the principal makes us call our parents, and we're like, we're in the principal's office, and he's giving us Saturday school, and we're like, what's going on? And we all we could do is blubber and cry on the phone and be like, he said, and I'll explain it when I get home. Like there's no way that you know. So I went home, and
Mhm.
I was like, Mom and Dad, my teachers are dumb. This is what's happened, and they're like, okay. They're like, go serve your.
But they did.
They're
They
just
didn't
like,
call the principal or
they're like,
anything.
go.
They're just like, all right.
They're just like, okay, you know. Well, I mean, it's probably not the smartest thing to do, anyways, is to pantomime a fight in the hallways.
Right.
Fair, parents point to you, but we. But she was like, my mom was basically like, you're in the situation, might as well just see it through. There's no real reason to to cause a cuff or call, a big thing, or call them out and be like, these boys are good boys or whatever. I don't even know. I'm sure she talked to him, but she was just like, just do it. So we went to Saturday school, and because we were already hanging out that day, our parents arranged it for us to go to Dan's house afterwards, and we spent the whole day together, hanging out, having a good time, and it wasn't really that bad because we just like hung out. It was actually turned out to be a good day, but yeah, that was dumb. I don't like that.
See, and that's the best thing. I mean, like whether that's on your so-called permanent record or whatever, like that's how it was back in the day. It wasn't this whole like parents stand up and like defend your kids, you know, like and get all mad at the teachers. It's like, well, you messed up now, didn't you? You're like, I didn't do anything wrong. It's like, well, obviously you did something wrong. Whether it
Yeah,
was what they think, but it was, you know, it's like you need to learn a lesson from this anyway. You know, it's not like how dare you treat my child like this? How dare, like, you know, blah blah blah. Like it's it's just like, well,
it was
you're
just
going to
like
Saturday school, kid. You know,
it's one Saturday. You'll be fine. Like
yeah.
you're gonna do more than you would have that day, anyways. Like, what's the big deal? Just go and do it. So,
Hmm.
anyways, that's see, like, I don't know. I didn't think I had it too rough in school. I guess if that's one of the worst things that I can think of, but
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the worst was when I went to the principal's office when I was in elementary school.
Ooh.
I went there a couple of times, and one time we got in trouble. Me and my friend Tony, or as we called him, a Big Mac, because there was like three of us. There was like my friend Tony, who was tall. There was me, who was whatever average, and then our buddy Shane, who was short. And so it was like Big Mac, small fry, and a medium Coke is what I was. Which obviously in the '90s was the as cool as you could get, you know, McDonald's style. But so anyway, um, my friend Tony and I, we would be on the swings, and as we're going back and forth, we would try to spit on each other, right? Why not? you know,
Sounds like fun.
and uh, yeah, exactly. So this was, I want to say, third grade. So you're all of 9 years old, and you're just spitting on each other on the playground. And then this kid Patrick wants to play with us and stuff like
Of
that.
course he
So
does.
what do Tony and I do? We sit him in the middle swing between the two of us. So it's just the two of us just spitting on him,
Oh, he's just getting all the
back and forth.
friendly fire.
He, yeah. Well, not even like he wanted to play, so we're spitting on each other. So if you want to play, you have to be in the middle. So he was in the middle, and we're spitting on him and everything, and he's spitting back. It's not like he's but he's got two,
He agreed to
two
this.
fronts.
He agreed.
He's got a war.
Right.
Yeah, he's got a war on two fronts. But
He's
it's not like
Kamchatka, and they're
yeah,
attacking from
yeah,
Japan.
yeah, exactly. So, well, I just remember like I spit this. I mean, to me now, it's still huge in my mind, but this giant loogie right
Oh.
on his on the back of his shoulder, and he was wearing this black T-shirt. So we go back in, and like um, the recess teacher
Uh-huh.
sees him, and she sees this big old loogie and then all this other spit all over his shirt, and she's just like, what is this? And it's just like, and it's like, oh well, and I don't know exactly what he said at that point, but we got in trouble for spitting on him, and I'm like, wait, hold up, this was a game, and he completely volunteered for this. Like he was spitting on us too. And it's like, will you guys? And like he didn't get in any trouble because he seemed like the victim. But
Right.
Tony and I got in trouble for spitting on him, and we're like, the rules of engagement were clearly explained but prior to him taking that seat. Like,
That's just like
and
Patrick.
again, yeah, and I mean I remember very distinctly like talking to like the principal and stuff and being like, and I don't know what it is. I was a very sassy little kid, and like I knew what I knew, and I knew why I knew it. So I was like, he knew what was going to happen. He agreed to it, and he wanted to play with us still. So we shouldn't be in trouble. And they're like, you shouldn't be spitting on each other. I'm like, that's not here nor there. If all of us are going to get in trouble, then all of us should get in trouble. Like we did not attack him.
Right.
Like it was a little unfair, I would admit now, but at the same time, if you want to, if you want to get in the game, you're late to the party, you're gonna get the last piece of pizza. You know what I mean? Like it's
Right.
just you're gonna get the worst seat. So that was that was our whole thing. Is just I got in trouble because somebody saw the victim somewhere else, and I was just like, no, he knew what he was getting into.
And it's just like those adults, man.
I know they just want to teach you a lesson. You shouldn't spit on each other. Ugh, well, we could be doing a lot worse than that, but we're just playing around.
Right.
Like we were learning. If anything, I mean, it was a lesson in physics. because you got to time that spit, at the right pendulum swing. It's two objects in motion with like
With wind
it,
resistance and yeah,
nailing that
man.
loogie on his shoulder was like a triumph of my brain's development
You're
for
like,
my fine
ah,
motor skills.
yata, success.
you're like, you know, so if anything,
Oh, it's funny.
we should be commended for coming up with,
Hey,
you
I
know,
think we
ideas.
make an in memoriam right now of the Luga game. The spinning game, whatever it might be
Yeah,
called. Um, you know,
the spit and swing. I don't know,
the ooh.
but yeah. So that was definitely. I don't know. Anytime you get in trouble when you shouldn't get in trouble
It
sucks.
does for sure.
Is definitely,
For sure. And
yeah.
when you guys could have been creating the next Olympic sport, you got to squash it like that. Yeah, that's rough, man.
Yeah, then we weren't allowed to spit, and then it ruins it for everybody because then you're not
Exactly.
allowed to spit on the swings. Pretty
Uh-huh.
soon, you know you're not allowed to be the king of the tetherball because everybody's got to get a turn and stuff like
I
that. And it's just
know.
like, oh, you can only win 5 times and
You're
or
like,
three
I got
times, and then you gotta
outside
get back on the
first.
line.
I got this Foursquare first. You can't come in
Yeah,
here if I haven't lost and kick me out of the King Square. That's not how this game works. We got here. I ate
exactly.
my snack pack so fast, my stomach
I've ate
hurts,
those.
so I could be here now.
Not even joking. Literally to this day, if I eat too fast, I get terrible hiccups that like my diaphragm punching my heart. It hurts so bad,
Like, why
and it all
did
stems.
you
It all
do
stems
that?
from yeah. Like I'll get these hiccups, and I'm like, oh god, it hurts so bad, and it all stems from when I was in elementary school chowing down chicken nuggets to get to the tetherball court.
Yeah, man.
Because the first person to the tetherball court, the first person to the foursquare court, got to make the rules and
Yeah,
got to
you
serve.
played it,
And
son.
that's, yeah. Ugh,
We played a
pound down those chicken
we played a
nuggets.
gentleman's game of Foursquare, all underhand. None of these whooply
Uh-huh.
do pick up and slam businesses.
Cherry
Yeah,
bombs,
if you didn't have skill,
bobbling.
son, you're going down quick because we practiced that stuff. We
Mm-hmm.
were good. All underhand.
Mm-hmm.
None of this slamming, jamming. You got to be quick.
Mm-hmm.
You got to
You got to get a
you got to get
spin on
got
that
to get
thing.
a low, forceful shot. Beeline it, barely hit in the square, quick. Because you can't do this whole
Mm-hmm.
big over thing with the underhand, man. Dude, it's last start. Last start.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways,
It is. Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
There were some
All right.
there were some good things
Oh, go ahead.
mixed in there with those bad memories, but mostly terrible.
Mm-hmm.
So hey, I appreciate you sharing. This has been Triggered Memories. I said forced memories
Oh, that's what
before.
we call it.
Triggered
I said
memories.
forced memories first. Triggered
Triggered
memories.
memories.
Right.
We're gonna get this down.
Right.
We're gonna get this down. Anyways,
Yeah. So what's the new? I'll go first on this one. So, what's the new this week? For me,
well, first for those who don't know what this
I
is when we
oh
bring
right,
something that's new in our world this week, and when we discuss it as if it's a new, like newsworthy, but we're not talking about multiple things, so it's not news. It's just new. So, continue.
singular. Yeah.
Right.
So I heard this on this mentioned on one of the podcasts I listened to, the Weekly Planet. The magician slash puzzle creator David Kwong. He was
All
a
right.
consultant on a number of. He's a magic consultant on several popular movies like Mission Impossible and Blindside, and I believe he did some work on Now You See Me and different stuff like that. So he's a very good illusionist, and one of his
What?
the coolest accolades I think he has is he writes crossword puzzles for the New York Times.
Oh, okay.
And
Well, first, real quick, what kind of magic is in The Blind Side? It's been a second since I saw that movie, but that's a football movie, right?
yep.
All right, continue.
I mean, protecting your blind side. I mean, that's illusions, right?
You read
Or
your
maybe how they made that guy look so big
yeah.
compared to
Okay.
Sandy Bullock.
Okay.
They're like, okay, you're gonna have to force some perspective here. Okay, let me show you how to do this. Like, yeah, Sandy, you're gonna want to put your hand like it's gonna look like you're touching his back, but you're actually gonna be anyway. Uh, yeah.
Okay.
So,
Fair.
so he,
So you don't know.
yeah. So
Okay.
he's a. Well, I don't think I've ever seen the full
You've never
Blind
seen?
Side.
Oh, for real?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, that's fine.
Oh, and I'm reading his accolade wrong. It is NBC's Blind Spot. So
Okay.
way off.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. So
my.
scratch all of that. Yeah.
Rewind.
Anyway, yeah. So he writes crossword puzzles for the New York Times, and
Okay.
he did a TED talk on puzzles and illusions and stuff, which was
Ooh.
kind of funny because it kind of just turns into a little mentalist magic act thing, like within the TED talk itself.
Okay.
Um, but uh, it's kind of interesting when you break it down. But he basically um, talks about how we're all puzzle solvers, right? Like human beings as a whole are hot and hard, not really, wired solve to solve puzzles and pattern recognition.
Interesting.
And they even did a test with newborn babies of like a day old, where they would show them a repeating sequence of just like a circle, then a cross, then a circle, then a cross, then a circle, then a cross, and then throw like a square in there, and the baby would like tracking its eye movements or its reaction would kind of like would show that it noticed the pattern, like the interruption in the
And it
pattern.
changed. Interesting.
So it's like, so it's kind of like, if you were thinking like maybe like kind of nodding your head to a beat, just like doom, 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 doom. You're like, like that little stutter can be recognized even in, a baby that's only like a month old or a day old. So, so yeah, we're constantly looking for patterns and everything like that, and trying to solve, you know the mysteries of the universe, or just patterns in people that we see around us. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
you're constantly observing those around you, and whether it's something as simple as, oh well, I need to leave 5 minutes earlier so I don't hit the traffic that usually happens at this time of day, or I'll take this route because I like to make this right turn as opposed to make this left turn, like later on or
All right.
whatever
All right.
kind of a thing.
That
Like,
makes sense, though.
um, yeah, that we're constantly just solving puzzles, and really all he does is he takes, um, like the name of his TED talk, or the beginning of his TED talk, he talks about how it's just like, a puzzle is really just, creating order out of chaos. And something I didn't know is that the crossword puzzle is actually an American invention.
Really?
And yeah, like,
You get down on crosswords?
oh, dude, I love crossword puzzles, man. For whatever reason, it's just good vocabulary tests, good kind of just reasoning things
The
out.
word guru.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You know, I love just like definitions on stuff. Like, ooh, maybe that's what we should do one day. Um, that would actually be a lot of fun. Is I'll just bring my unabridged dictionary and just read through the definitions of, not like, that's the thing. Everybody looks at like crazy words for definitions, right? They want
Right.
to know what ophiloskeptis means, and they want to know what all these kind of things is. One of the things that I found most interesting in more or less just reading straight out of the dictionary is definitions for words that you use literally hundreds of times a day, but
Right. Where
there's so many variants.
where someone
Like
would ask
the
you
word
like how would you explain what this word means to someone? You're just like, I can only explain it by using the word. Right? You know?
right. Yeah, like
Well,
and just the amount of research that has to go into it, cuz yeah, you can go through, a bunch of different books and find all these crazy words, and oh, this word got added to the dictionary. Oh, now tweet is, this, or any of these like new confangled words that people are making up. And that's totally fine. Every word has to start somewhere, right?
right.
But I remember specifically, just to kind of give you an example, the word it in the Merriam-Webster unabridged dictionary has like a page and a half worth of definitions, like it, because you think about it, and
You can use it
it's
for so
pretty
many
much what it
things.
is.
Pronoun.
One of it, I want to say it's in the 30s. I want to say definition like 37 or so. It says something to the effect of a specific individual in a childhood game with characteristics relating to just that individual or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, yeah, it's describing being it, like whether it's a tag or not you, but whether it's the game of tag or anything, it's like he's it, she's it, you're it, like that has a definition in the dictionary. Like you can find that. And it's something that probably not a lot of people look up because they think they know what that word means,
Right.
but there's a lot of stuff that somebody went through and they went, okay, where are we at? All right, we got 36. Oh, what about that child, like the thing, like you're in, like, when you play tag, what about that? It's like, oh yeah, I guess, okay, 37. All right, what else we got? Like, it's crazy. So uh just puzzles, crosswords, just, and yeah, just David Kwong, man, he's doing it up. Like, it can't be easy doing the New York Times, man. You got to get some good stuff in there. And there's a lot of times where you're like, yeah, you see your NBC's blind spot. You're like, oh, who was the all-time greatest running back? And you're like, I don't care how many letters it is. I would not come up with that at all. I'm gonna have that. This row is completely dead. I gotta go. I gotta go up and down. I gotta go down now. like I got nothing for this. Yeah. So yeah, it's an interesting thing that's like, yeah, it's not like, you're, if you if you could make a a test, like a school test, like a,
Right.
out, not an algebra test. That's a terrible example, but like a history exam where it's like, a crossword. I think that would be fascinating because, it's like, you know who, warned the British are coming, and you're like, ooh, I don't know. And so then you have to go, okay, well, now I got to go down, and I got a couple of these answers. So, it's like maybe it'll give me at least the first letter so I can kind of guess. Reeves. It was Reeves, right? It's like, no.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, so yeah,
It's always Reeves, man. He's always into stuff.
Reeves. Keanu said the British are coming. Uh, yeah. So, what's your new?
Oh, trying to rack my brain over here of what in the world I learned this week, and I'm sure there were some things. Um, so the I'll try not to do this too much, but I I deal with music too much these days. Not too much, but a lot. And so a lot of the things that I learn from week to week have things to do with music.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll try not to make it so hoity-toity that people don't know what the jazz I'm talking about. But
Oh, ba-bum.
you got that? Oh, being about a
Ba-bum.
so um, so you are familiar with the album Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys?
Yes. Is
Yes.
it Pet Sounds or Pet Shop?
Pet Sounds. Pet Sounds. Pet Sounds. The
Oh,
the yeah.
okay. Uh-huh.
So and you're I'm sure familiar with a little song called Good Vibrations.
I was listening to the Marky Mark Good Vibrations earlier today.
Different
But
song.
continue.
Different song.
Yes.
You got that
Good,
good.
good,
You
good.
got it.
Good
You got
vibrations.
it. You got
Oh, I went back. I went back.
it. So a lot of people talk about
Giving me
you
expectations.
got it.
Anyway.
So a lot of people talk about how that's such a great album. It's their
Mm-hmm.
answer to the Beatles' Magic Mystery Tour, or maybe the other way around. I forget. But anyways, I'm pretty sure it's what I said the first time. Anyway, so it's pretty
Mm-hmm.
experimental and things like that. But everyone has heard "Good Vibrations" is about 1 billion times, and I don't think people quite realize like how crazy of a song that is.
Like the lyrics or the music?
No, the music,
Uh-huh.
the music. So take pop music. Well, take pop music in
Mm-hmm.
general now. So I mean, that's popular music back in the day. It's surf, quote unquote surf music. It's God only knows when. I mean, it's bubblegum pop basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
You think about that these days, like it's gonna be in one key. It's gonna have an idea that goes through the whole song or whatever, but it's gonna be for more or less in one key with chords in that key. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
maybe a few things here or there that might be a little spicy, but for the most part, you don't see things outside of that really. There's exceptions. I could name exceptions, but really not usually, right?
Right.
Jump back to the '90s. Think about Eagle Eyes Cherry. Save tonight, fight the break of dawn. It's a 4 chord song in one key, and the chords go over and over and over and
Mm-hmm.
over again. It's the same thing over and over again, right? And it's not a bad song by any means. It was played to death in the late '90s, but man, it was his only hit. So I say, play on, Eagle Eye Cherry. Anyways, uh, so Good Vibrations has 5 different keys during the course of that song.
Mm-hmm.
5.
Okay.
5 different key chains. In the chorus itself, every chorus has changes keys twice. So there's 3 keys in every chorus. Like what?
3 keys. I'm trying to think of how the full chorus. Keep going though. Yeah.
Well, that's what it is. Good vibrations. But then they go up.
Boo doo 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 doo
Good, good,
doo
good.
doo.
So
Boo
they
doo
go
doo.
up like a full whole step of a key
Mm-hmm.
between like each good vibration. So the singing is here good
Good
vibration.
vibration.
Good. It
Good
goes up and it changes
vibration.
the chords that they're playing underneath that. And that's just in the chorus. Uh, the beginning key is minor,
Mm-hmm.
and they go to 3 major keys in the chorus, and they go back to one of those major keys in the bridge, and then transition to a different major key in the bridge that they haven't used yet. and then they go back to the chorus. And this time, the very last chorus, rather than so okay, let me take you back. So in the first two choruses, they go from the key of F to the key of G to the key of A.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so they do that twice. First chorus, second chorus. Last chorus is reversed. Key of A, key of G, key of F.
So they change up
And
the
then
chorus even of it in it of itself.
even of
So
itself, it's not the same every
instead
time.
of just giving the same chorus 3 times, even with the changes in that, they go back and change the third version of the same
The
chord. Okay.
third,
Mm-hmm.
right? They do it backwards, and they do descending keys rather than ascending, going up rather than down. So that in itself is crazy. And then if you ever listen to that song, there's like it doesn't really have an ending. They
Oh yeah, it just
do
peters out. Yeah.
well. They do these kind of weird like la 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 things at the end, uh, which you think, oh well, that'll lead into something, and then they just like play one chord and it kind of like
Mm-hmm.
fades out. You're
Right.
like, whoa, that's kind of weird. Anyways, it's a strange song, and then of course it's the famous use of the theremin in
Mm-hmm.
actual non-kitsch music, if you will, as an actual instrument versus a sound effect, which had been used as before, basically up to that point.
Mm-hmm.
So
For
yeah,
for those
it's
that
an interest.
for those that don't know, the theremin is
Yeah,
that scary
hit them
movie sound thing.
exactly. You
It,
got it. It's a strange instrument. It uses like electromagnetic field, and there's like a rod that sticks straight up, and it depends on where you stick your hand next to the rod. You don't actually touch it. You just go
mm-hmm.
next to it, and depending on if you go up or down, it changes the pitch.
if,
It's
if
very weird. It's
if
very
anybody
strange.
didn't catch it when I was making those sounds, I was actually moving my hand like in front of me, as if I
Exactly. Of course
were
you were. You're going up and down
playing invisible and
like you were playing the
voiceless
theremin,
theremin.
or if you were
Hmm.
for your being Christina Aguilera. Nailed
Uh,
it.
no, that's cool.
So, anyways, I hope that wasn't too technical for anybody. If people could follow that, if they understand music at all, but if you don't understand what keys are in music, then you probably didn't understand that at all, and I
Well,
apologize.
I mean, this is a time when um, your songs weren't really your own. Like the Beatles and the Beach Boys and stuff, they kind of changed a little bit of that, where you played your own
You wrote
songs.
your own
You wrote
songs,
your own
right?
songs instead of a band making it to a number one. They get their number one, and then they just kind of go through a couple of classics, and they all kind of trade around the same versions, or just they just do their own versions of different songs. It's like everybody is doing a Christmas album, but it's all the same popular songs. Like
Right,
um,
right. If you look
you
back
know.
the decade before in the 50s, Frank and all the crooners, that's all they were.
Hmm.
That's what they did, right? They did the old standards, and some new songs would come around, and one guy would
Hmm.
do them, and then another guy would do the same song, and
Hmm.
it's just like who's
And
is
then
better?
Michael
We'll
Bublé just
see.
comes and does it all over again.
And then
So
Buble says they haven't
yeah,
done this in years. I'll
yeah,
capitalize.
yeah.
And then he was like, "Quando, quando, quando, quando." Um,
But yeah, I mean, you got all of them singing the same songs with just a slight twist. These are their own writings and everything. I'm looking on the Wikipedia here, and it says Brian of the Beach Boys clarified that the song was written under the influence of marijuana, not LSD.
of course.
So the good vibrations there, but but yeah, I mean, like that's the thing. Yeah, it's like
Noise.
this was a time when it's like, oh well, we're gonna make our own stamp on it, and I'm not gonna just do
Yeah.
these rote tracks that
Oh, and even
everybody's done already.
And even that, the Beatles had got to the point where they were just doing some really avant-garde kind of stuff and selling records for it. And so a lot of other people said, well, we could, like, if they're allowed to be creative, we could do it too. And, Beach Boys were one of them that just kind of, when we want to do something that's crazy and out there and a little experimental. And, obviously that album sold a lot for them. So, but it's an interesting time in music now, where at least as radio is concerned, they don't really want that, which is too bad. I think it
Mm-hmm.
could be interesting if we had some cool things on the radio now. Um, uh, it's really interesting too. Just an end cap on this, maybe a little bit. That a lot of people, obviously, we have our own definition of what pop music is now, right?
Pop,
It's
pop,
that
pop music.
bubblegum pop music, right? Pop up video music. But it's interesting that back in the day, back in the 60s, even the 70s, pop music was just whatever was popular. That's what it meant. It meant,
Mm-hmm.
oh, this is a popular country song. This is a popular jazz song. This is a popular R&B song. This is a popular whatever. And so they had pop stations that just played whatever was popular. So you could get a mix of everything,
Mm-hmm.
of all genres, whatever was high on the charts
With
uh,
Casey
in
Kasem.
those particular genres. Yeah,
And the
and that's
Wolfman.
what Wolfman Jack, and
Yeah,
that's
come
what they would
on.
play. And so everyone got a little bit of taste of all different kinds of music if they listened to the pop station.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sad that that's not a thing now. That you have to. I can only listen to stations that play only country or only rock or only oldies, which are now 70s, 80s, and I don't know, maybe even 90s now.
Well,
They would
yeah, I
do
mean,
that soon to us, but
it would kind of be interesting too because, like, people people now identify so much, or I wouldn't say now as much, but definitely when those radio stations kind of started segregating themselves and being like, we're the rock station of, Milwaukee, or, we're the, country,
right,
you're one and only country station, and all these kind of things, like, and they had their branding. Well, then, like, whatever you decided to listen to, that was like, your thing as well.
yeah.
And so, like, it wasn't like, you yeah, there wasn't a market for that for whatever reason, to be like, oh, well, I want to listen to whatever is the most popular song across, the 10 most popular songs across the board. Like, you remember, oh my gosh, okay, you remember when we went, and you were DJing that dance, and those girls came up to you, or those girls and that guy or whatever came up, and they're like, can you play this song? It's the number one dance song in India. And you're like, okay. And you played it for about 45 seconds, and they were like the only ones dancing, and then just had to change it, right? Do you remember that?
I do not
You
remember
don't
this.
remember that? Yeah, it was just like in the gym and everything, and
I
they're just
don't
like,
remember this.
and they were just like, these two weird chicks and this guy, and like, yeah, it's the number one dance song in India, and it's like, I mean, what we should have said at that point was like, okay, this is on you. You need to teach these people how to dance to this, right? Because, I mean, I'll put
Right.
on the electric slide and everybody knows what to do. I'll put on the hokey pokey and everybody knows what to do. I'm going to put on this song and people are going to not know anything. So if you say, hey, everybody, this is how you dance to this, and you have some, it didn't even sound like Bollywood stuff, which I think people would be into now. But like, if you're like, okay, everybody, this is how it goes, and you do your little, you know, like head
Right.
bobs and everything like that, people would probably be like, okay, okay, I can see what's going on here.
I can
Yeah,
do this. I can do this.
yeah. But like, we just threw it at them and just being like, okay, here's this song, and they danced, and it was kind of like, yeah, a billion people literally think this is the best song, but we're gonna change it.
but but it's demographics, man. It's you
Mm-hmm.
got to play to your audience, and that's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's
But yeah, you should start that station, man. Just top
it's a
hundo.
thing now. It's just called whatever your streaming services that you use
Well, yeah,
and the
even
playlist that you create.
yeah, yeah.
It's too bad. It's all mixtapes and playlists these days.
That's what I call
Mostly
now. That's
playlists
what I call music, or not your
these
mom's.
days.
Yeah,
Now
exactly.
that's what I call music 87.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Cool.
cool. All right. Well, that is the cast for today. Thanks
Boom,
so much
boom,
for joining
boom.
us, everybody. We will, yeah, ask your friends the question of the day. Uh, share your memories with each other or with us, and yeah, we will hit you up next week.
Yeah. Do we got a place for people to send stuff if they want to hit us up with the question of the day or the answers or whatever?
You can send it to taggandbrando at gmail.com. TAGGNBRANDO at gmail.com. So, yeah,
Boom.
boom, boom. So, and check out our blog. That hasn't been updated in 10 years. So,
Enjoy.
yeah. All right. Well, thanks so much, guys. Have a good one.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.